We are talking about bossing up in love and relationships and marriage. What? Yeah. Woo, woo. Welcome to the next installment of Boss Up. Tonight, there we go. Nope, I was running just a little bit late tonight, Shayna, just a little bit late. I was trying to make this natural looking messy bun and was struggling, so we were having some hair malfunctions. So tonight we are talking about bossing up in love and relationships. Hello. Welcome. And if you notice the title I put on this video, it actually is the name of my book that's coming out called Nice for What? Nice for What? So as y'all know, well, many of you may not know, I'm Rebecca Lynn Pope. I am a pastor's wife, I'm a minister, I'm an abundant life coach, I'm a best friend, I'm a mama, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I love business. I love being an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for almost 10 years. But I am a newlywed. I am a divorcee, okay? Divorcee. I am someone... Oh my gosh, Shana says she read almost my entire book today. Yeah, if you don't know, I have a book on Amazon called Love and Dating in the 21st Century, A Godly Girl's Guide to Love and Dating in the 21st Century. I'm happy you're enjoying it, Shana. And so, you know, for years, my background is in love and dating. My background is as a relationship coach, a love coach, and I evolved into more life coaching and abundant life coaching over time. I used to be a matchmaker. I was a matchmaker for many years. So love and dating is how a lot of you guys actually probably were introduced to me through a video or through this group, or how you were probably referred or connected came through something having to do with relationships. And what I realized a long time ago, girls, is that God had strategically placed me at an intersection and in a vehicle that is directly related to especially women, but men as well, but they just don't talk about it, to the greatest pain and struggle we have in life, which is relationships. Relationships are difficult because, and this is what I teach on this in the Divine Circle a lot. Relationships are difficult because it is not an individual sport, right? You're not in control of another human being. You're not in control of who likes you. You're not in control. You can't make people act right. You can't make them do right. You're only in control of yourself, which is why it's I'm not going to say it's easy, because, you know, there's a process to everything. But when it comes to the other abundant life elements, such as health, wealth, purpose, and peace, you can work on those things on your own, right? You're in control of your money. You're in control of your peace of mind and your prayer life. You're in control of pursuing purpose. You're in control of surrendering your life to God. You're in control of pursuing your health and exercising and eating right. You're in pursuit. You know, you are in the driver's seat, you and God, but it's an individual sport with just you and God, versus love, relationships, marriage gets very complicated very quickly, because now it is another person involved, right? You can't control him. You can't make him act right. You can't make God send that special man. You can't, in my first book, unlike this next one I'm writing, the first book is really about positioning yourself for love, making sure you're doing everything that you can as far as your part in things to position yourself for love. Well, the newest book I'm writing is a little bit more edgy, in that I'm saying nice for what? Nice for what? Because, GGs, here's something I want to get really clear tonight. And when we talk about bossing up in love and relationships, a lot of the time, what's missing with good women, good-hearted women, my book is for good women and men, good guys, good girls, right? What do you mean when you say good girls and good guys, Rebecca? I mean good-hearted people. I'm talking, because we're the ones that get eaten up and spit out. We get chewed up and spit out in the dating game, in relationships, because our expectations are so naive. and we approach relationships from a perspective of, if I'm really, really good to you, you should be really, really good to me. Now, it works okay when you get with another giver. When you if two good people get together, two good people, which this is so rare, which is when you find it, you better hold on for dear life and never let go. Because when two good people get together, you outdo yourself giving and doing for each other. However, ladies, with kind of put a pin in it, okay? Because even with good people, you're going to need to have boundaries. You're going to need to boss up when it comes to relationships, because a lot of the time when you're too nice, and it's just human nature. It's human nature in dating, in marriage, in relationships, even relationships with friends. If you do not have strong boundaries and you do not speak your mind and you do not ask for what you want, you're not going to get what you want. When you're quiet and you do not ask or demand for what you want, and I'm talking about even when people love you, even when you are with someone that loves you, literally, even then, if you're quiet, which is where I have found, which is why I'm writing this new book, if you're quiet, people just assume you're happy. They will assume you're satisfied, which is one of the issues with good women and good men. A lot of the time, good women and good men are praying, right? We're praying, God, fix my marriage. God, help my relationship. God, bring this husband. God, and you're praying and you're praying and you're praying, but you're silent and you're not communicating. Who can own it tonight that in relationships you've had a tendency to be passive? That you'll want the man to be a mind reader. You just want him to do whatever it is you want him to do organically. You just want him to naturally just step up. You want him to court you. You want to be wined and dined. You want to be treated like a queen. In the marriage, you want your husband to be deferring to you and considerate of your feelings, and you want him to be sensitive, and you're wanting all these wonderful things from the people that you love. However, if we're honest, who can own tonight that you've been passive about getting those things? You've been passive about getting those things. Have you asked for them? Have you required them? Have you coached or trained or helped your husband, boyfriend, partner, boo, to understand your requirements? See, because here's a misconception. Everyone's not the same. Everyone's not the same. Literally, what one woman wants, the next woman wants something totally opposite. A man could have dated one woman, and just when he's thinking he's got it figured out, that goes through a breakup. He meets somebody new, and she's a totally different individual, and he's got to learn her and figure her out. But what we do as human beings is we make assumptions. We make assumptions. We will say, well, the last 3 men I dated were like this, and so that means men are like this. If we're honest, right? We take a very limited selection or limited experiences, and then we apply that to a whole gender. Right? If we're really honest, think about it. How many relationships y'all been in? It's not a lot. It's not like you have all this experience and you've met a gazillion people and you just have studied the human nature of men. You don't know. You've had some select experiences, and then out of that very small sample size, you begin to make theories. You begin to draw conclusions. This is a fit for me. This isn't a fit for me. I like this. I don't like that. This works for me. Men are like this. Men are like that. But you don't know how men are because you don't know all men, right? Now, there are some simple truths But at the end of the day, you have to treat everyone as an individual. Why are you talking about this, Rebecca? Why are you going here? Because when it comes to love and dating and even marriage, one of the things I'm here tonight to tell you is you've got to stop being so nice. This is for my good girls. I can talk about this here in Gigi's because this is who, you guys are my tribe. This is who I'm here for. You're my assignment. Now, we know that the book Men Love Bitches, I'm allowed to curse. I'm the cursing minister. I'm allowed to say a few curse words every now and then. I'm just telling you the title of the book, okay? I'm not really cursing, but that's the title of the book. The title of the book, Men Love Bitches. There's another book, Why Nice Girls Never Get the Corner Office, or something like that. There's books that talk about, how it is that women who are not quite as nice are winning. Why? Why, Rebecca? Why can't I be nice? Why can't I just expect people to make me happy? Why can't, if I'm good to people, why can't I just sit back, and why can't someone treat me the way I treat people? Or why can't a man be honest with me? Why can't a man just do the way I would do? Because they're totally different creatures. Men are totally different. Listen, the second chapter of my book, the book I'm writing right now, is called Nice for What? And the second chapter is Testosterone is a Hell of a Drug. Testosterone is a hell of a drug. I've done so much research on men and testosterone, and it just will blow your mind. Blow your mind about just how biologically different men are from women. How we use our brains is different. Men have about 10 to 20 times the amount of testosterone flowing through their bloodstream than women do. What does that mean, Rebecca? It means that there's a lot more ego. Testosterone drives aggression. It drives competitiveness. It drives that winning spirit. There's a lot of things about men that are just absolutely, completely different from us. And we expect men to be like us. But God made them different. And it's one of the things as I began to write this new book, that as I began to really look at the research, I began to realize, dang, God, did you have to make us so completely different from each other that it's so hard to understand each other because we're so different? We are literally totally different from each other. The way we process, the way we think, our organic biological makeup is very different. So at the end of the day, what happens is we approach relationships with men, we approach our expectations of love and dating and marriage, and we treat it with the same expectation that we have of ourselves or we have of women. And you're going to get let down every single time. I don't care what expectations you have of men right now. And I'm talking to my good girls, because I'm not even talking about the women who have totally unrealistic expectations on the side of rich and looks, and like my other video I did. I'm talking about even the good girls who just expect a man to be so much like you. Not going to happen. So at the end of the day, we've got to toughen up when it comes to how we deal with men. There's got to be a balance, because good girls are too nice. I don't know what you call the other women without using a bad word, but not bad girls, but the edgy girls, the itchy girls, right? The itchy girls. The girls who speak their mind to men, men talk out, they don't like those women, but they do. They do. So tonight, let's get specific, okay? Let's get specific. When it comes to talking about dating, let's talk about dating right now. Dating in the 21st century, 2018, if you're in your 30s or your 40s, let's talk about what does it mean to boss up in dating, Okay, we're going to go through dating, we're going to go through relationships, we're going to go through marriage. What does it mean to say you've got to boss up when it comes to dating? Well, you're no longer can afford to be passive. That's number one. You can no itchy, right, Michelle? You can no longer afford to be too nice. Energy doesn't lie. I was on the phone with a client one time and she told me how when you go on a date with someone who wastes your time or it's a dud and that it's a waste of pretty. Okay, a waste of pretty. Why is it a waste of pretty? It's a waste of pretty because you got dressed up, went through all the work of preparing for a date to get on the date and then be totally disappointed with who you're there with, to have a horrible time. But a lot of the time, if we're honest, the energy was off before you ever went on the date, right? So here's one way to boss up when it comes to dating. Get honest. Be authentic. If you're on the phone with a man and the phone conversation is like blah, dull, or he's easily, I was on a power session today and she was telling me about a gentleman that, it was like he was easily offended. Everything she said or did, he had a problem with. And this is just in the conversations before you've even met each other. Don't go on that date. Do yourself a favor. Don't go on that date. You are not desperate. You're not desperate. Don't waste your time or his time. Don't give it's a waste of pretty. Don't waste your time getting dressed up, dolled up, doing your hair, everything else to go on a date, and the conversation doesn't even flow. If a conversation over the phone can't flow, the date's not going to be any better. That's basics. That's not rocket science, right? Whoever God has for you, whoever you're going to be with, it's going to flow. And one of the things that's difficult is that, and this is, I want to point this out before we go into any deeper, is that a lot of the time for single gals, it's frustrating because it's been so long since you've really met someone that you're absolutely crazy about, right? That's crazy about you. And so what happens is you're settling, or you're literally going on dates with people you're not really that into, and they're not really that into you, because you're actually forgetting what it's supposed to be like. Because people with real connection, who you're going to have real chemistry with, are so few and far between that over time you can forget how it's supposed to be. So you start kind of being like, well, maybe, well, we'll see. Well, I don't know, maybe he's better in person. Maybe he was just nervous on the phone. You start making excuses. You start waffling. You'll literally start kind of trying to make it be something, or make it be, something that interesting. No, stop it. Your time is precious. You can be working on your health, you could be at the gym, you could be at home washing your hair, honey, you could be working on your money and your business plan. There's so many other things you can be doing besides going on dates with men that you have no interest in, or the energy's not there. There's no chemistry. And then you can tell that on the phone. You can tell that on the phone. Right? Don't waste their time or your time. It's a waste of pretty. Boss up when it comes to the dating process. I promise you, if you will begin to stop acting desperate, stop acting like there's not a gazillion men out here. Sips tea. Stop acting like you need to explore every option. No, you don't. There is a gazillion good men. And I do know that my definition of good men is different from a lot of women. But I didn't have no problem when I was dating. I met incredible men all the time. And one of the things you're going to have to do in bossing up in the dating process is you're going to have to change your mindset. You need to be acting like there's a gazillion men. You need, for every time you start thinking like there's not enough men, the ratios of women to men are 15-1, blah, blah, blah. Throw all that away. Start over, throw the whole thing away and just start over. There's a gazillion great men out here. A gazillion. I meet them all the time. I talk to them all the time. I meet professors and engineers and IT guys and, coaches. And there's just a gazillion single men who are absolutely wonderful, who you're probably friend zoning. Anyway, I won't go there. But all I'm saying is that there's a gazillion great guys. Stop acting as if you're desperate because the one guy you met is you feel like he's your only option. No, your option, you can stay home and wash your hair. You can stay home and put a charcoal mask on for the night. You can go lift some weights. You can go home and meal plan, honey. You can be home writing your next bestseller. You don't have to be dating for you to meet the one. Real talk. You don't. If you don't want to be on a dating site, don't go on a dating site. If you want to go on the dating site, go on the dating site. It's really up to you. It's literally, but here's the thing. What you have to remember that what God has for you, he has for you. And there's an appointed time on this thing. So whether you go on the site or whether you don't go on the site, doesn't mean you're any closer or any further away from what God has for you. You don't know when love is going to come knocking on your door. One of the reasons I stopped matchmaking, I don't say this very often publicly because I have friends who are matchmakers, is that, first of all, it doesn't work that great. That's number one. Number two is that God is the best matchmaker in the whole world. God is the best matchmaker in the whole world. So at the end of the day, oftentimes what's happening and what God does is he uses your desire for love. And I'm talking to the believers. I'm talking to the Gigi's. I'm talking to the good girls of the world. He uses your desire for love to bring you into closer relationship with God. And then as you're on your abundant life path, as you're on your destiny path, as you're on your purpose journey, as you're healing, as you're leveling up, as you're pursuing God and surrendering your life to God, and I know I'm talking to somebody tonight, as you begin to, you stop even thinking about men and dating and love and all this stuff, and you're just flowing with God and excited in the life that you're creating. And that's when love comes knocking on your door. Knock, 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 knock. Hey, boo, who are you? That's when love comes, when you least expect it. I'm talking about for the believers, okay? I'm not talking about for people who think you're in control and you can make it happen and you out here constantly on the hunt looking for that man. That's not who I'm talking to. It's not who I'm talking to. At the end of the day, as a believer, one of the things you're going to have to understand when it comes to love is you are not in control. You can go on a million dating sites, a million dating apps. You can date a gazillion guys. I did. I love dating. I'm a social butterfly. I loved meeting people. I loved going on dates. Dating was a part of my social life. I would treat men. I would have men I meet and we become good friends, and I'd take them like, look, let's go down here and hang out. It'd be my treat. I have no problem treating. And they would treat me. I met incredible people, incredible men. I had a great time in my single life. Why? because I enjoyed meeting people and just enjoyed networking and socializing and I love people's stories and I love listening to people and having great conversations. But you know what? At any given time, when I look back and I think when I started really feeling like I was ready to be married again and I really wanted love, something began to change. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't make it be love. I met some incredible, wonderful men. There's great men out here, ladies. But it still wasn't love. And what I learned about the process of love when it comes to believers is that God has a special thing for you. God has love with your name on it. He's got a blessing with your name on it. However, the things we've been talking about in this Boss Up series, the things that we talk about in the DDs with the power sessions and everything I teach on, is specifically that you have some work to do. You've got some blessing blockers. You've got some things that have been in the way. And God is actually revealing to you and showing you who you are and showing you your destiny and showing you identity. Because one of the things I've often asked a lot of the Divine Circle members who are, when they first come to me, were just coming because they wanted love and they're trying to figure things out. What am I doing wrong, Rebecca? Help me, to figure this thing out. And one of the things that they've learned over time working with me is that the whole time, God didn't want your focus on a man. He didn't want you so focused on dating. So is being on the dating site hunting? No, not at all. It's just like networking, Shayna. It's just making yourself available to meet people. LinkedIn, a professional networking business site, is one of the biggest places to meet singles. It's very hard to see the blockers, Marcia. It's very hard to see your blessing blockers. So, honestly, it was when I got out of my own way. What does that mean, Rebecca? What do you mean? It means when I began to surrender everything to God and I began to get on my purpose path, when I accepted I'm a minister, when I accepted this is who I am and I began to surrender to God, Carrie Pope showed up out of nowhere, saw a picture of me on Facebook and put a ring on it. What? Not that simple, but you know what I mean. Like, we got married within 16 months. But yeah, he saw a picture of me on Facebook. And when you shift into the right gear, ladies, God begins to accelerate your life. Because here's something I want you to consider. I want you to consider that you don't quite know who you are yet. And I say this all the time to DDs. And after I explain it, they understand what I'm saying. That right now, the special, incredible, magical thing about God is that right now where you're at, you can think you know who you are. You can think you know where you're going. And in the blink of an eye, God can change some things around in your life. And you can find yourself on a purpose path and in a direction that you never, ever saw for yourself. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that every time I talk to DDs and they start getting on the abundant life path and we start doing work together and God starts to reveal some things, there's always some new things that God is about to do. And then there's new steps and they start doing new things and there's new projects and it's just, exciting and new endeavors. And when down the road, when I'll say, now, if you would have met a man prior to you stepping into your rightful position, prior to you making destiny moves, prior to you switching gears, prior to you getting on the abundant life path and living your life in this new purpose-driven way, what if you had met someone before you switched gears? Before it was really revealed to you who you really are, your power, your confidence, your purpose, your new business, your new way of life, your new lifestyle, I could go on and on. And when I ask, if you'd met a man prior to doing this, would you be doing right now what you're doing if you had met a man? And the answer is always no, I don't think so. Because men, as women, we're naturally built. We're naturally built. Cheryl, I think you're logged in as me. We are naturally built to shift and to support and to nurture and to bend to fit in with our man. And if a man were to meet you right now and you haven't yet gotten really strong on the path of where you're going, is it going to be a fit down the road? And most women on the abundant life path that I work with say, this is a whole new me. If I had met someone and married them a year ago, I would have been in trouble. Right? So no matter what you're doing, no matter where you're at right now, you can relax and understand that God has love with your name on it. Okay? God's got love for you. It's inevitable. As you get on the abundant life path and you begin to heal and you heal your mind and you think right and you begin to exercise and execute an abundant life and you begin to get on your purpose path and you level up with your health and your wealth and your peace of mind and your prayer and meditation life levels up. As you get on the abundant life path, it is absolutely inevitable that love is going to come and it's going to find you. It's just going to happen. It's organic. It's natural, just out of the blue. Like and if you really think about it, most of the time when you hear people talk who are really in love, right? Really, really people who are absolutely in love, who have met their soulmate, if you listen to their stories, it's always kind of like it just came out of nowhere. Like, where did you come from? How did you get here? How did you find me? Who are you? That's the common story. When God does it, it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Like you weren't even really looking for it. You weren't even serious. It was just kind of like, it just kind of flows and it's easy. Oh my God, when it is right and it's God, girls, it just flows. It's not all this struggle and wrestling and he didn't call me and did I text him last and the lack of consistency and all this struggle and this days and times with dating that is so complicated. It's not going to be like that at all. At all. So part of bossing up when it comes to dating is about also realizing that it's in God's hands and it's coming, but you've got to do your part. What is your part? Your part is to be living your best life. Your part is to create a life that you love. Your part is to heal. Stop running from your issues. Surrender. Right? Your part is to do your work, your boss up work, the stuff we've been talking about in this series. And then your part is about, because the other thing about when you really get into a flow of who you are and being authentic, you'll speak your mind. You'll talk to him just like you talk to a friend. You're going to talk to me like, I like this, I don't like that, I want to do this, I don't want to do that, because you're not afraid to somehow run him off by being real. Because that's what a lot of good girls do. They don't speak their minds. They don't ask for what they want because they're so afraid that by asking or making demands or having boundaries and requirements, that somehow that's going to run someone away. Not the one for you. It ain't going to run away. The only time a man's going to run away from you by you having strong requirements is if he doesn't like you and he don't want you and he was never serious from the beginning. And I'm not talking about being bitchy. That's not what I'm talking about. You can communicate requirements in the most loving. You can have the biggest smile on your face. You can even say it jokingly. You can communicate your needs and your requirements in a very loving way that you don't ever have to be absolutely bitchy. You don't. You do not. Now, are you going to have to be firm sometimes? You're going to have to be firm. You're going to have to be firm. You're going to have to learn to stand your ground. You have to learn to let your yeses be yeses and your noes be noes. You're going to have to learn to speak your mind. You're going to have to learn to check people. Right? You're going to have to learn to be firm, to balance out that niceness. Remember the name of this video is Nice for What? And be firm. By the time I met my husband, so I told you guys I would share some stuff tonight. By the time I met my husband, I was so tired of dating. I don't know about some of y'all. But I'd also been through so much in life, I was just tired. So by the time I met my husband, you know how you like, oh, I was about to say something so bad. You have no more F's to give. I had no F's to give. Excuse my language. I literally had nothing within me anymore to put on or not be real, or what's the word I'm looking for? It's like when he met me, it was just real Rebecca. I mean, like from the first conversation, I'm talking like, and I never forget our first conversation. I was like, where do you live? And he told me where he lived. I was like, that's far. That's like almost an hour away from me. In Atlanta, things can be very, very spread out. And I told him, I said, that's really far from me. You need to know right now, I am not a driver. I'm not a driver. I'm just not. I'm letting you know right now, if this is going to go anywhere. I was saying these things in the first conversation. And girls, you know me, you know my heart. I'm really nice. I'm really too nice. I'm a reformed nice girl. So I'm saying things, but I was being serious. Because I'm like, let me let you know right here from the beginning that if this goes anywhere, I ain't going to be driving all the way out to your house, because I just don't like to drive like that. Now, I'm a very, very loving, giving person. There's a lot of benefits to being in a relationship with me, but that ain't one of them. That's right, Dan. No more representative. I was just real and 100 from the beginning. From the beginning. It was also in like the first conversation that I was like, look, if you ain't really ready to be doing nothing and ready to settle down, like really looking for your wife, like, if you ain't sick of dating or really looking for something serious, I am not it for you. I'm done with dating. I got enough friends. I want my life partner. I want, and there's a way you can say things that it's not like confrontational. I was just talking, because it's not like I'm saying you're the one. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, where are you in life? Because this is where I'm at. This is what I'm prepared for. This is where my spiritual journey has brought me. This is what I've done the work for. This is who I am and where I'm at. And if you're not there, that's fine. But I just don't want to waste your time or my own. And I said that. I said, this is where I'm at, because I don't want to waste your time or mine. And he was like, oh, good, because I hate dating. Oh, okay. We good. That is what he said. He said, oh, okay. Because I hate dating. We good then. We got married 16 months later. We dated and courted and had an incredible time getting to know each other. But he also told me he knew he had an expiration date. Because I set the expectations from the very beginning that I wasn't going to be dating you forever, that I was looking for my life partner and I was ready to get married and I want to build a legacy and build my money and wealth with someone, that I'm ready to get this thing going. He knew that he didn't have years. You're not going to sit around and waste years of my life when I could be marrying somebody else or be, getting this thing going with someone else. I'm not going to allow you to waste my time. I'm not going to allow you to sit here and string me along or try to figure out if you're ready and all that stuff. He knew. He told me that later. So we were actually married within 16 months. 12 months of knowing someone is good. 4 seasons. Learning somebody over the course of a year is plenty of time for you to get to know them and marry them. You don't need all years and years, especially if you in your 40s, honey. If you grown, 2 grown people, by the time they finally meet each other, you don't need a bunch of time. You don't. All this year, somebody who wants to come along. Listen, the other day I came across someone who is with a man I used to date. And he got with her not too long after we had stopped dating each other. And I knew he was full of ish back then, which is why I stopped seeing him, right? But he got with her right after me. Girls, I'm talking like 7, 8 years ago this was, okay? They've been engaged for like 6 years. And I came across his page and it showed engaged. And I'm like, they still together and engaged this whole time, because they got engaged like that year after we broke up. And they still engaged 6 years later, just engaged, not married. He ain't changed. He just stringing that child along. Get out of here with that, man. Keeping me off the market, and not even married, but we living together and living like we married, but we ain't really, really married. Not today, boo-boo. Boy, bye. Who doing that? Boy, bye. That's what you need to be saying to these mother suckers. Boy, bye. Man, listen. Okay, I'm going. Let me. Woosah. Let me bring it back in. Bring it back in. Yeah, we got time to play these games. We ain't little kiddies. Tricks are for kids, baby. I ain't got time for this. We got money to make, destiny moves, legacy to build. Okay, we got some property to buy and luxury trips to go on. And I ain't doing that as no miss. I'm doing that as a missus. If I'm going to be on a trip with you, I'm going to be somewhere booed up with you, somewhere sleeping with you, screwing, whatever. Oh, we going to be married. Some of y'all need to boss up. One of the things that led up before I got married, abstinence. I stopped having boyfriends and boyfriend sex, casual sex. I'm just being real. Y'all know I keep it real. I don't know who y'all be listening to, but one of the things about bossing up is to say, put them cookies in the cookie jar. Start acting like a wife. And y'all getting real quiet like crickets, like, oh, Rebecca, No. Good girls be the first ones to be giving it up because you're too nice. Don't play with me. Y'all act like I was just single a few years ago. And I talk to men all the time. Christian good girls are the first ones to be giving it up. Y'all acting like, don't act brand new. Do not act brand new. I'm serious. Because these men be talking. I know what's going on. Too nice. Low self-esteem. Lack of confidence. Leads to sex. Because they run circles around you. Men are playing chess while you playing checkers. He know what he want. What do you want? Lock it up. Just saying. You want to see some different results? Do something different. If you want some different results, do something different. You can't keep doing things the same way and expect different results. You want to be married? Start acting like a wife. Your mind goes there before you go there in physical. Before it manifests, you start acting like it, which means you stop entertaining knuckleheads. If somebody walks like a duck, talks like a duck, they a duck. Stop shacking up. He has no reason. He getting the milk for free. I'm just saying. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand human nature. Human nature is, if I want you, I will do whatever you require of me to have you. Now, is that going to be every man you meet? No, it's not going to be every man you meet. It's going to be a very rare man that truly, truly wants you and is ready to settle down and be committed. Rare. That means they don't come along, which is why you get so frustrated with dating. Because you're expecting every dude that comes along, every knucklehead, every random dude to be like super into you. He into you and 5 other people. It's a very unique and special man who's going to be into you and ready. And when they are, don't friend zone them. I want you to do an exercise. This is for the single GGs. I want you to look at husbands. Okay? I want you to go and all the married people you know on Facebook, I want you to go look at the pictures of them and look at the husbands. And I'm not talking about the celebrity couples. I'm talking about your average, everyday married people. Average, everyday married people. Go look at the men. Do y'all know where I'm going with this? Go look at the men. It's your homework assignment. We're going to talk about it next week because we're going to stay on love and relationships for next week because I'm not able to get into everything tonight. We're running out of time. But your homework assignment as a single girl is to go look at pictures of married couples and look at the men. Look at the men. And what do they look like? Now, I'm going to tell you something. Mr. Pope wouldn't like for me to share this, but I'm going to tell it anyway. Ugh. Shayna said, ugh. Right? So when I met my husband, Mr. Pope is a little older than me. And literally he tells a story how when we first met and we started really dating and dating exclusively, I literally went into his closet and I literally cleaned house. I swear he had shirts that, looked like butterfly collars. He had shoes that I'm like, dude, what? What are you doing? No. Right, Lachelle, they are not 6-pack abs. They don't look like celebrities, maybe slightly shorter, maybe a different race. This is where I'm going with this, gals. Husbands and boy toys are 2 totally different animals. And a lot of you have been messing with or dealing with or dating the boys, not the men, and not the husband material. So you get in your head of what husband material is, and you're associating that with your experiences, but honestly, who you've been dating and what you've been doing is not husband material. Go look at the husbands. I mean, do a scientific study for yourself. Go look at married men. And here's the other thing. When you're looking at those pictures of married men, you have to understand that that woman, that wife, is part of the reason he even looks that good. The woman, the wife. Wives pick out husbands' clothes. Wives cater the style and say, oh, baby, do this, do that. Oh, I love that shirt on you. I love this tie. Do this. Oh, honey, you need to start eating right. Or, honey, you need to get in the gym. Or, honey, that's what wives do. My husband hardly puts on anything without me coordinating it. My husband has a whole new style since he met me. I came in clean. I'd be like, this looks cute. Oh, no. You need this. You need that. Let me get these polos. Let me get this GQ suit. You need this Hugo Boss suit. You need this. You need that. I'm literally over here, have completely revamped his entire style, and he looked hot. He didn't. Kerry Pope look better right now than he's ever looked in his life. Maybe a little bit of a chubby with a little bit of a tummy because he be eating good. And I got to get him in the gym. But I'm just saying, I'm a little chubbier too. That's what love does. But we got to get in the gym. But I'm just saying, go look at the husbands, and you even looking at them as is, you're probably going to be like, Rebecca, this is what my husband's going to look like? Yeah, that's what your husband's going to look like. That's what husbands look like. I'm just saying. Y'all don't want to hear me though. You don't want to hear me though. That I'm telling you the truth. That's what husbands look like. And they don't even look that good when you meet them. Because the other thing is this. The average man who's looking really, really good when he's single and is super fly. Come on now, let's just be honest tonight. I know I'm going to put this on YouTube. My male followers are going to have a field day with this. But literally, men who look really, really good when they're single, that means they put a lot of effort into looking really good when they're single, which means there's an agenda. Men don't do things without there being a reason, a motivation behind why they do things. And a lot of the time, what we don't realize as women is that a man who puts a lot of time into his looks and into his image and into his style and into that a lot of the time, that means that's where his heart is at, which means he's focused a lot on getting attention for that. It's kind of basic psychology, which means that he's seeking the attention that comes along with looking really good, which means he's probably not geared towards thinking about more thinking. He's not putting as much effort into thinking about God, family, his money, taking care of others, giving back, because there's only so much time that you have. Now, the best men I know, they don't have time to be sitting here being manscaped, and half of them don't even have time to work out because men have a lot of responsibilities, and really, really, really good men are working hard, and they're trying to take care of their mamas and their kids, and they've got goals, and they're pursuing purpose, and they're driven, and they're working hard, and at the end of the day, they don't have time to be sitting here trying to be manscaped to attract women. You know, any businessman I've ever met, they don't have time to chase skirts. They don't have time to be trying to, and now they can look nice, you know, decent, but are they super fly fine? No, not the men who are positioned and ready to settle down and get married. No. Mm-mm. Not to say there's not an exception to every rule. However, as a rule of thumb, a lot of the time, it's not that men are cheaters or men are liars or men are players. It's that your type is liar, cheater, player. That's just the truth. Maybe what you like is the same type, kind of just in a different body. So you have the feeling that men are this way or men are that way, but that's just what you like. Because you build an attraction to something. There was a video of mine on YouTube, and I know I'm winding up on time. I'm over time. There was a video of mine that a man made a comment on YouTube, and I thought it was really interesting. He was talking about how a woman's first couple of sexual experiences, you know, whatever age that is, sets kind of a standard in her life. And a lot of the time, your early experiences, not just sexually, but even romantically, will literally set a standard that you don't realize that you're comparing everybody and everything to these initial experiences, which means that if you had the tall, hunky, you know, guy when you were in high school, or you know, in college, you know, your first experiences, or that crush you had, you know, you started dating him, and since then nobody measures up, or you're still chasing this standard, this prototype for what you expect to be love. And it has to do with your initial expectations and standards that were set when you were honestly a girl, when you were very young. If you were in your teens or 20s in your first, you know, really emotional and sexual experiences, you didn't know anything. But you could be 40 right now, still trying to date, still trying to find compatibility with what you knew when you were 19 and 22. Honey, you grown. What was a match for you at 20 is not a match for you at 40. You're going to have to grow up. You need a real man with some real goals and some, not just potential. You need a man that loves God. You need a man with morals. You need a man who's got work ethic. You need a man who does what he says he's going to do, who's there for you, and who's a stand-up guy and who's dependable. You need a man that's going to love you from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. You're going to need a different dude than what you've had. Okay? So we didn't get over into relationships and marriage tonight. We're going to go over into that next week. We're going to carry over. This will be part 2 next week into the Boss Up Love and Relationships segment. Anyway, I love you. We're going to continue this next week. I love you, love you, love you. So tune in next week. Make sure you share with your friends. Invite them into the group so they can join us next week as well. We'll finish up dating and get into love and marriage and relationships next week. All right. Love you, girls. Have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you soon. See you next week. Bye-bye.